Right, so welcome to episode 12 of the Online Network of Independent Learning Professionals. Today we are going to chat about using WordPress as an LMS. Joshua, is it Millage? Is that
Millage.
How you say your last name?
Good.
Okay, perfect. Thanks. I've done my homework. Joshua Millage is going to be chatting with us about using WordPress as an LMS. But I just want to give a quick shout out to Ant, because Ant looked, connected with Joshua, and he's the whole reason that Joshua is on here today. So Ant, could you just give us a little background of why you're interested in us hearing from Joshua or anything?
Yeah, so I first heard of Joshua's name on his LMS Cast podcast. As I think I've spoke to most of you, I'm a big podcast listener. And I started listening to the LMS Cast a few months ago. And yeah, I was just really excited to hear about, I'd heard of other LMS plugins that were available on WordPress, but this sounds like quite a new type of LMS model. And yeah, just reached out to Josh and, is it Joshua or Josh?
Joshua, but either way is fine with me.
Joshua, yeah. So yeah, I was just really excited with what he was doing, and thought this was a great environment for us to get a demo and to see what he's working on, and to maybe give him some feedback and to ask some questions, and yeah, save us all doing it independently, really. So I'll pass it over to Joshua.
Right on. Patty, do you care if my business partner Chris jumps in?
I would love for that to happen. Bring Chris in.
He's texting me right now. I'm just going to send him the Zoom link.
Yep.
Chris has a whole different way of looking at e-learning that I think might add to this conversation. So I just sent him the link.
Sure.
He jumps in here.
Oh, wow. So he's already on. You guys work fast.
We love Zoom, so we're all about this. Great. Well, is it okay with you if I just screen share then and go for it?
Yeah, go ahead and share your screen. And just for everyone else, if you're not chatting, please put yourself on mute, so that way Joshua and Chris don't have to fight for audio rights there. And then if you have any questions as they go along, feel free to put them in the chat, and then we'll get to them whenever they want or at the end.
Fantastic. Can everyone see my screen there?
Yes.
Looking good. Okay, cool. Well, today, we're talking about WordPress as an LMS. And my name is Joshua Millage. I'm the co-founder of LifterLMS. I'm the son of two teachers, so I really grew up in academia. My mom was a first grade teacher. My father was a college professor. So life was a little bit of like living in a study hall at times, but I think have a decent understanding of where modern education is, and then I have a definitely formed a vision of where I see it going. I'm passionate about knowledge, and I actively publish in knowledge management and present places like Harvard and Cambridge, and travel all around publishing and presenting findings in the knowledge management space. So I'm in this game at multiple levels, and very excited to see how the internet is changing things. So we're talking about WordPress today, and I just wanted to kind of introduce what WordPress is. I'm sure a lot of you know what it is, but maybe there's some of you who don't. WordPress is a 100% free and open source content management system. At last kind of survey, it powers over 24% of the internet right now, and it powers major companies like CNN, Time, Dow Jones, and others. They're on WordPress. So, a few years ago, WordPress really wasn't getting the respect I feel like it deserved. And in the recent years, these larger Fortune 500 companies have adopted it, even though it's open source and it's free. It's really become a very stable foundation to build on. And we've built on it. So LifterLMS is our WordPress LMS plugin. It is now 100% free and open source as well. Once you plug it into WordPress, it turns WordPress into an LMS. It's easily extendable, and it's really the first step in our vision of laying a foundation for democratization and innovation in education. That's kind of a fun tongue twister there. Out of the box, it's really geared towards the solo education entrepreneur space. However, we've been building custom learning management systems for just over 3 years now, and it's become the backbone of our larger projects too. So and I really want to highlight that because the LMS space right now is so fragmented in a lot of ways. You have big players like Blackboard, you have a bunch of other plugins, you have plugins that are really more geared towards the internet marketing crowd. Then you've got a bunch of like SaaS companies in between who are creating places to sell courses in a very kind of turnkey sort of way. Like you don't have a lot of control over the theming and that sort of thing. It's you pay them, you can sell your course. So for us, we're starting right now with our plugin, looking at the solo education entrepreneurs. We've built the plugin for them. However, it can be and will be expanded into the larger enterprise systems. And hopefully, I think, this year we have goals of creating functionality that can really help universities, credentialing institutions, and places like that. So I'm going to jump into 7 reasons to choose a WordPress LMS. This is going to go really high level. And I'm happy to go down the rabbit hole, whatever direction you want to go in the Q&A. But I just want to talk at a high level why I love WordPress as a platform for an LMS, and with Lifter, why I love it as an LMS. So the first thing is simplicity. One of the things that I've seen in my background on education is when people go and purchase an LMS, they have to hire an implementation team. Well, with WordPress, you really don't. A lot of hosting providers nowadays have one-click installs. So you buy your hosting at, say, GoDaddy or someplace like that. You click Install WordPress, you're up and running. To make it an LMS, you just add LifterLMS, and you can do that through our website, LifterLMS.com. And I will say, I'm saying this a little premature. By the end of this week, you'll be able to get it for free on the WordPress repository or our website. So we've changed our business model a little bit from making it a premium plugin that you have to pay for to 100% free. And so, so by the end of the week, you can, type in the WordPress repository, LifterLMS, click install, and now you have an LMS. So it's really easy to set up. You don't have to hire a bunch of people to do it for you. And I think that's pretty great. The second thing is flexibility. So with WordPress, you can create any type of LMS you want. Again, I mentioned earlier that it's really geared towards solo education entrepreneurs that are really interested in creating some sort of passive income by using or teaching their expertise. But large organizations can use it too to create custom LMSs. And we've seen this happen a lot of times where they're creating either learning portals for internal training, or they're using it to do some pretty crazy things. Like we have a real estate trainer in Australia who's built his training platform on Lifter, but added some custom functionality that makes it kind of a competitive social network. So based on what people are doing in the LMS, they can actually rank against each other and compete, which is pretty cool. And that's what's awesome about WordPress and LifterLMS is that you can expand it in any direction you want to. WordPress is easily extendable with plugins and themes. So out of the box, the architecture itself is built so that you can upload a different theme, change the entire user experience, the entire look and feel, and then plugins extend the functionality. So maybe you want to add some functionality that limits the amount of login attempts that someone has into your LMS. There's a plugin that will allow you to do that. Or you want to make it easier to manage your SEO in your course so that people can maybe find your course, but if they try and access it, then they're told to log in, which can create a pretty cool channel for getting more students into your LMS. But all of that's possible by just adding a few plugins. The third thing, this is one of my favorites, is you own your data and content. You own everything when you choose to go the WordPress LMS route. If you've ever been on a hosted solution, you might have had the traumatic experience of waking up one day, receiving an email from that provider saying, hey, we've been acquired by so-and-so company, or we haven't made it, we're shutting down, and you lose everything. And that can be incredibly traumatic and frustrating. But with WordPress and something like Lifter, the only way it would go away is if you stop paying for your hosting. So I really like that aspect of control. The other thing is if you're using some of the larger kind of marketplace LMSs these days, you might wake up, log in, and see that you're actually having competing courses advertised against your course, which can be really frustrating. So you avoid all of that when you go this route because you control everything. The fourth aspect of that I love about WordPress is that it's fully compliant with all of the modern web standards. I'm somewhat of a developer. Codebox, the parent company of Lifter, is a web development company, and so we're all about clean code. And WordPress and LifterLMS, the code is fully compliant with the modern W3C standards. And this just means that it's going to work perfectly in today's browser, as well as maintaining forward compatibility with the next generation of web browsers and web standards. So one of the things that's frustrating, when you look at some of the larger enterprise solutions, is that especially, I'm not sure where Blackboard is at now, but back when I was using Blackboard, mobile was coming fast. And they struggled for a while to get on mobile. I'm not even sure if they are, to be honest, so I might be speaking out of turn if they are or aren't. But that's the thing about WordPress, is it's built on these standards, so to move into a responsive environment is very, very simple, very easy to do. And WordPress, as well as Lifter right now, are mobile responsive. So that's great, because a lot of people are now accessing their education through iPads, iPhones, and those sorts of devices. Okay. Now, I love the ability to extend WordPress and extend LMSs, because I think that as a teacher and as I teach online more and more and more, there's things that I think about, functionality really, that I think about that can enhance the user experience or the student's experience. With a lot of learning management systems, I don't have any ability to do that. But with WordPress, if I have an idea for just a theme, I can install a new theme or hire someone to modify a theme for me. Or if I need to expand functionality, again, I can just add a plugin to extend the functionality, or I can create my own plugin to create functionality that's unique to my teaching style or my education, my learning journey that I have presented online. And a lot of people think about that and they go, oh, that's really scary. Like, I don't want to hire someone to develop code. But the nice thing about WordPress, because it's so ubiquitous, because it powers 24% of the internet, finding people who understand the platform and can modify it, it's very easy to do. And so the possibilities are really endless. It allows you to get very creative. The sixth aspect is freedom. WordPress and LifterLMS are licensed under the GPL license, which was created to protect your freedoms. You're free to use WordPress and LifterLMS in any way you choose. You can install it, use it, modify it, distribute it. You could literally take LifterLMS, you could add some code to it, rebrand it, and it would be yours. And that's totally fine with us. Software freedom is the foundation that WordPress and Lifter were built on. And so we want to see things change. We're trying to put this foundation out into the world, and we want to see how people change and use it. And they're free to do that. So WordPress LMS, you need to pick a plugin. That's the big aspect. WordPress is not an LMS out of the box. We hope that you choose Lifter. Shameless plug there. And there's 5 aspects that make Lifter unique. So there's all of the LMS and course building functionality. So you can jump in there, easily create a course with as many sections and lessons as you'd like. Of course, you can also assess your students using multiple choice quizzes. However, we are adding a number of other assessment tools in the future. So assignment upload, paragraphed assessments so that people can do free form answers, that sort of thing. So those are coming soon, but you do have some basic assessment functionality built in now. Engagement functionality, which is really cool. It allows you to automatically engage your students. A use case for an example of that would be maybe a student hasn't logged in for, say, 30 days. You can tell Lifter to automatically trigger an email to go out to that student and say, hey, why haven't you logged into the course in a while? We'd love to see you come back. Engagement also includes gamification, badging essentially, and certificates. So you can award badges as a student progresses through a course. You can trigger those on a number of different things if they complete a lesson or a section or so forth. And you can also award certificates for when they complete a course. Membership functionality is also built in. And this is really to allow you to kind of bundle courses together. So maybe you're selling 3 courses they're supposed to be taken in a progression. Other WordPress LMS systems, you'd have to have a whole separate plugin to do that. But we've included membership functionality, so you can tell Lifter, I want these 3 courses to be included in a bundle, and then you can sell the bundle as you choose. Or if you're not selling them and that's not your goal, it's totally okay. You can have someone register and have those courses, kind of give them access to all those courses in one fell shot. E-commerce. So out of the box, Lifter has PayPal built in, so you can immediately start taking payments. Again, if you choose to take payments using PayPal, we also have some premium extensions that you can install. Stripe is one of them, so if you want to take payments with Stripe, you can do that too. One other thing that's not on here that's going to be released this week with our Lifter 2.0 launch is vouchers. And vouchers are really cool because they allow you to give access to a course without taking payment. So you can protect your course, generate, say, 100 vouchers. They would just be like unique codes, and then distribute those, say, in a maybe you're doing an in-person workshop and there's an online component that goes with it, and they paid you in cash for that workshop, but you want to give them access. You can generate a voucher, give that to them. They can have access to that course online. Another example, and the reason that we included this in the core functionality is when you look at the needs of people who are doing online education in third world countries, credit card processing and online e-commerce isn't the same as it is in first and second world countries. So they do a lot of cash exchange, and they want the ability to give a voucher so they can take cash, give a voucher, and then that person can go home and plug the voucher and then learn online. So that was really to help those people out. But there's a lot of other use cases where vouchers are really, really important. So that's kind of a quick overview. I'm happy to jump into any questions. Like I said, I kept it really high level, but I'm happy Chris is on the line. So if things get too intense, I can always get him in here. But yeah.
Josh,
Awesome.
we had a request to see the front end and the back end. So I can do that if you guys want, or I can direct you to a place to go see that. Either way.
So what do you guys want? Do you want to see a quick example, or just put it in the chat? Do you want to see a quick example? Let's see it. Okay, so we're getting let's see it.
Cool.
All right.
So I stopped sharing there, Chris, so you can jump on.
Okay, take over there. Thank you again, everybody, for having us. This is our demo. You can find that at demo.lifterlms.com. Like Joshua said, we're in the middle, like you're literally catching us right as we're flipping the business model. I saw some comments on going free and what's the business model. So we have some premium add-ons. We have a done-for-you boost, we call it, setup service. So there's other ways we make money. We just wanted to get this in the hands of as many people as possible, and we really do want to make it accessible, because for some people they need it and they can't afford a plug-in with first world pricing. So it's just part of our mission and vision as a company. But here's demo.lifterlms.com. This is a really simple, basic course. I'm logged in as a WordPress administrator. So if you're not familiar with WordPress, it just means I'm logged into the site and I have full control to do whatever I want. So it looks a little bit different because I'm logged in. It also recognizes me as a student in this course.
Chris, real quick, can you minimize the zoom control? It's just taking up that right sidebar.
Oh, this guy.
Yeah, just minimize it.
There we
Cool. Perfect.
So yeah, this is like the basic course page. You can see your progress, and I can drop in. I can continue into the lesson where I was. So it's a little bit meta, but our demo is about how to make a course. It's a course about how to make a course. So it's worth a watch, and you can see some links to our documentation and stuff like that. This is a simple video lesson with some text and links below. You can see where you are. We have some sidebar widgets that come that show you where you are in your progress, and give you the overview of where you've come and where you need to go. Joshua and I are also really big fans of catering to different learning styles. So you can really lock things down and make Lifter go in an order, like with lesson prerequisites or course prerequisites. Or you can just jump around to whatever interests you, because some people like to start in the middle and or start at the end and work backwards or whatever. So we're really open to that. You can see like this lesson's checked off, but these aren't. So you can lock it down as much as you want, or leave it kind of open and free. We've got a commenting system at the lesson level, so you can have a conversation around lessons. And this particular demo here, I'm just going to go to the dashboard here. This is kind of like a dashboard view where I can see my courses going on. And then I don't have any certificates right here or badges set up, but that's where all this is. And then to give you just a little quick look at the back end, you can see LifterLMS is, once you install the plugin with a WordPress install, this shows up here. And there's all kinds of settings and management you can do back in here. This screen's about to change the main screen with our new 2.0 launch. There's just going to be more information there. But really, I think I could spend a lot of time showing you different parts, but the main thing I'll show you is just how we like to make it really simple and easy to build out a course quickly. So this is at the course level. We have this course builder. I can, drag and drop lessons. I can create sections or modules. And it's a real visual way to just architect and build the framework of your course. And then you can go right in and edit the content. So that's just a quick demo of that. There's all kinds of things, like you can have one-time price, recurring price, both. Joshua has mentioned our voucher system that's coming out. This is for, let's say you want to give a school or a business 50, 100, or 1,000 seats in something, and you need to have some kind of activation code or voucher code system. That's what this is all about, and you can manage that and edit everything. So this is for larger sales. Type, if you sell 1,000 courses at once and you get paid, we have a system for delivering that, or if you want to sell offline. But that's the vouchers. But I'd really encourage you, if you're interested, head on over to demo.lifterLMS and go through the tutorial. All these lessons, it's probably about an hour of video total, and that'll give you the complete picture. But that's just a fast, lightning fast tour.
One thing too to mention, this is built on the Genesis framework, Genesis theme framework. So that's where the visual design's coming from. But we're creating our own premium themes right around the corner that I think everyone will really enjoy, because they're really geared towards education. And so they're going to even have a more enhanced user experience. We're also launching another open source project called Launchpad. It's an open source theme framework that makes it very, very easy for theme shops to create their own LMS themes, as well as anyone who might be a little bit more technically inclined, who understands the basic, CSS, HTML. You can create your own theme really, really quickly using that framework. So lots to talk about, and things are going to get pretty exciting here in the next 60 days or so.
Great. That is exciting. Thank you very much for showing us that. And we do have a few questions. I'll start with a couple of the ones kind of dealing with what we're currently talking about, and then I'll go back. Alex is asking if you have any metrics on concurrent users, or like a user footprint, like reporting, things like that.
Like an analytics system?
Alex, could you kind of expand on your question there?
The quick answer is we do have student analytics. So you can see how many students you have, where are they progressing to, and that sort of thing. We have, and we divide that into a couple areas. We have like e-commerce analytics if you're selling your courses, progress analytics. We've got, it kind of bleeds into student management if you want to drill into a particular student and go down and look at the student level. So it's an area, and we recently just polled our user base for what they'd like to see in addition. So we're looking for trends, and we're going to be adding more to our analytics and student management here in the near future too. But what's your question, Alex? Is there any more we can answer for you?
Oh, I closed them.
Oh, were you referring to me?
What's that?
Yes.
My connection went down right when you started answering the question. So I got nothing of it. I'll probably just review it when Patty puts the chat online.
And there is I'll just say in the demo that one of these videos is about the analytics and student management system. This will go over like what it looks like and what you could do.
Perfect.
Okay. I was referring more to the metrics regarding how many concurrent users the system can currently support.
Oh, I see. So what we've done, recently we're working with a really large, we did some optimizations because we needed to make sure everything was lightning fast for somebody who had a user base of 30,000 people and it's growing quickly. So that, those are the where we've been pushing the limits of like making sure that our queries and everything in the code is good for tens of thousands of people. I haven't seen somebody with 100,000 yet, but we're ready to tackle that and make sure we're good when the opportunity arises.
Okay, and so thank you for answering that question. Thank you, Alex, for clarifying there. Another question from Guy asking if you're familiar with the ADAPT framework, and if so, if LifterLMS plays nicely with it.
I am not familiar with it. I guess my first question would be, is there a known knowledge if WordPress plays nicely with it? Because if WordPress plays nicely with it, Lifter might play nicely with it. So, but I'm not sure if you want to elaborate on what ADAPT is.
Hi, is my mic on? Can you guys hear?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thanks for taking the question. The product looks really great, very interested. So thanks very much for sharing it. And thanks, Patty, for putting this on. It's working really well. So ADAPT framework is an open source framework. It's really picking up a lot of steam. Check it out. It's you know, kind of like a less JSON framework. You know, it's a bit on the technical side, but they do have a builder for it. You know, I guess the question would be just SCORM support. Maybe just at that level, if we could tackle it, because ADAPT happens to be a very open, you know, quickly emerging source, open source for responsive development. But in the end, let's just assume that it puts out a valid SCORM package. How does your product deal with SCORM packages? Can I upload and serve them?
Right now, it's on our radar. We don't have SCORM tin can compliance, but it's definitely, there's a subset of the people who are interested in WordPress LMS who are looking for SCORM and tin can compatibility. So it's in our product roadmap of like, that's one of the big like things to look at next. But I'd love to, so the answer is we don't have that right now, but I'd love to hear like, what do you love most, or why do you need SCORM and tin can? I mean, I just kind of want to hear it. Like, what is the best value if you're talking to somebody who's new to it of why they should use it?
Right. I think I'll just answer quickly and then leave it open to others. But for me, in this case, it's having existing material, say it's Storyline or, you know, one of these other existing tools that I've got content in already, and I can just bring it and import it. Maybe I can publish it without SCORM support and have it work just like as a web thing. That might be an option. But in cases such as ADAPT framework, it's going to be a pretty solid SCORM functioning, requires a SCORM player kind of thing to work.
I have seen people use like a Articulate plugin and then put that Articulate content into a LifterLMS lesson. So there is kind of that bridge there through plugins. But we want to take a serious look at the issue and address that need in the marketplace.
If I can interject, this is Dennis Hall. The plugin that you may be talking about is just simply a Articulate launch a course kind of plugin. It doesn't communicate the SCORM or tin can, that plugin. It just opens your Articulate course in a shadow box.
That's right.
In a light box. It doesn't add any value for reporting or anything like that. However, I'm an XAPI developer, and Joshua, you and I have communicated in the past.
Yeah.
So what I'm interested in is because I do like Lifter, and I have had a client look at me. It was the reason you and I were communicating in the past. What I'm interested in is, how can I contribute to LifterLMS to make it tin can compliant, or to add in tin can reporting, which I'm quite capable of. I'm a very experienced WordPress developer as well as a learning developer. So I'm very interested in helping your product become CMI5 compliant if we can.
Awesome. Well, Dennis, first off, I wish you could see my arms because I just got chills. Because that's what we want to happen. I mean, we have a big vision of this, you know, changing education, democratizing education. We know we can't do it alone. I mean, that's why we're going full open source. And I'm down in Los Angeles right now. I'm originally I live in Santa Cruz. and I'm talking with our CTO right now exactly how do we develop this development community? How do we get developers involved? So we're still working on it. We're actively working on it right now. That was kind of one of the main purposes of this trip. And with the 2.0 launch, as we kind of get through that, Thomas is really going to spearhead that whole effort to set that up. I mean, I apologize because I'm not super technical, but I know he's thinking through the Git system and
Right.
Pull and push requests and how are we going to communicate? Is it a forum? Is it a Slack channel or something like that? So we're going to have a full set of ways to have people like you contribute and commit code if that's what you're choosing to do, or just get information from us on how you can extend it on your own. It's right around the corner. Chris, I don't know if you have anything to add around that, but we're really excited and we're really going to put hard into that. And I'd love to know, and maybe we can dialogue via email, like what are the things that you feel like you would want from us in a community? Like how could we support you the best? Because our whole approach from the very beginning is listening to people. We're really hyper-focused on developing features by listening to our customers and prospective customers, as well as listening to developers on what they need to expand what we've already built. Because we really believe this is not just us. It's going to be a group of us that change the way that people learn.
Okay. Are you guys currently working only off the MySQL database, or are you writing any records to another database? Because the reason I ask is that 60,000 threshold I heard earlier, because MySQL will start to peter out on you pretty quickly.
I have, I believe that's really a question for Thomas, but I know that's an issue. And we've been, we'd love to actually figure out different ways to deal with that issue. And I know like WordPress VIP and there's other ways out there where people do it differently, but I would say, Dennis, one thing, like just one of the ways that we work, Joshua's the CEO of CodeBox and leads up sales and marketing, a lot of the community outreach. And I'm the operations guy. I'm also the product owner of LifterLMS.
Mm-hmm.
And looking at the tin can AP SCORM stuff, I'd love to get together with you and just get a little better understanding from a product roadmap level of like what you're thinking. And then, like we mentioned, Thomas, our CTO, he's got the real technical answers, and we'll be kind of spearheading that, like making it all happen. So,
okay, maybe we can, Joshua, I can send you. Well, you do have my email address, and
I do. Yeah, I'll share that with Chris, and then I'll let you
great.
go from there. Yeah,
because I'm very interested in helping you guys along to get this more compliant as far as whether it be SCORM and or Tin Can. I actually see Tin Can as the easier solution.
So I want those to disappear.
Of the two.
And that's really helpful, Dennis, because honestly, when I think back to like a year and a half ago when we really started planning it, part of the reason we didn't go down that road is we just weren't knowledgeable enough about what decision to make. And it seemed like at that time things were changing so much. It's like, well, we could develop something over here and then it's immediately out of date. And we saw our competition creating integrations with other companies to take care of us. I know like LearnDash has a GrassBlade integration, and GrassBlade then takes care of things.
They're using Learning Locker.
Yeah, and I'm not exactly sure how it all works, but we saw that, and our initial customers weren't asking for that, but we know it's a big deal. So love to chat. And I'm going to send Chris your email right now. So
thanks. I won't consume any more time. Thank you.
Thanks, Dennis.
Awesome. And I know the LearnDash, that was a question that you had, Sean, if they were able to make any comparisons to the LearnDash WordPress. Did you have any specific questions about that?
I can make some high-level comparisons real quick.
Sure.
We're not that focused on our competition, so I don't want to speak out of turn because I don't know how they've developed. But LearnDash is really just an LMS. From what I understand, if you want to take payments or you want to add membership functionality, sell group courses, those things are things that you have to go and get an additional plugin to do. Again, I could be wrong. They might have changed things recently. But I know that they're really hyper-focused on the LMS, and they have a lot of things that kind of bolt onto that for advanced quizzing and that sort of thing. I think one of the big things, and it's unfortunate because you can't see it on the front end, is that we've had a lot of people tell us that in comparison to the other plugins, our plugin's really easily extendable from a code standpoint. Like, our code is cleaner. Again, I'm not technical, but that's just a comment that constantly comes up. And we've had some big influencers in the industry come on board as advisors to us because of the way that we've developed our code, and because they see a bright future for us in terms of putting this into the development community and allowing them to expand it. So I think that's a big differentiator. Although, again, on the front end, you can't really see the underlying code. Yeah, and I think that one of the things that we've done well is we've created a massive, or started to seed community that's becoming more and more massive every day around people who are genuinely passionate and wanting to expand. And I don't really see that in our competition. Chris, do you have anything to add? Because I know that you've worked with LearnDash actually in the past. Got your hands involved.
I would say if I could wave a magic wand, I would love to see a third party, like, unbiased person, like, get a copy of all, like, the major players and do a comparison. That would be really cool to see happen one day. But yeah, like, our approach to development is we're really focused, and our product road mapping is not trying to make like a Me Too situation. So we're really kind of taking it from first principles from the ground up and thinking about learning and membership protection and engagement without really comparing and contrasting. So we're probably not the best comparison. The one that I do hear people tend to note from time to time is like, LifterLMS is kind of clean of a plugin. And what I mean by that, there's not a lot of dependencies in it. LearnDash embeds another plugin called WP Pro Quiz. So there's a dependency there for their quizzing system, whereas our quizzes right now are really simple, but we've architected them as a multiple choice system from the ground up, so that we can build upon it later and that we own that code base, and it's not like dependent on something that may or may not continue to be developed. So that was one of the things where we took that sacrifice of, okay, we're going to build quizzing from the ground up. It's just going to take some time. And I know that's one comparison I see people point to sometimes when they're looking between the two.
If I can interject a quick question, so your product doesn't require anything like BuddyPress or anything like that, right?
No, we have an optional BuddyPress integration if you want to turn it on, because there's definitely a community that likes the social learning environment. But no, you don't need BuddyPress. We also have an optional WooCommerce integration, but you don't need to use WooCommerce. We have our own cart system. But what we found is that those two communities, BuddyPress and WooCommerce, a lot of people just want to use that technology with their LMS, so we just made it easy for them to check a box and integrate. So.
Same thing with BBPress too, which is more of a form system.
Yeah, the reason why I ask, if you look at WPLMS, they require about, I think, something in the area of 24 different plugins to be added.
I knew where you were going there. In the very beginning, we made a conscious decision to like not do that.
That was a real smart move, guy.
Yeah,
thank you.
You get a little flack with some of those decisions because people are like, "But so and so does X, Y, and Z." But if we're into this for the long term, so we want to get it right, even if it takes a little bit longer.
Awesome. Great discussion, you guys. My gosh, I knew this was going to be a lively discussion and that we still have a few questions to get to. I've not forgotten anyone's question. I'll make sure that we have time to get them answered. Just on a side note, Ant is asking if we possibly get a quiz from the front end. I'm just letting you know that in case you want to get it ready if you do want to show it.
Sure.
But Michael has been super, super patient. So I'm going to get to a couple of Michael's questions. He is wanting to know, when is the ETA for 2.0 release? Do you have like a contact email that maybe you could put in the chat if people have additional questions? And then also, can he track completions via AICC?
Well, the 2.0 release is, you guys are really special, very privileged group here because we're not doing a public launch really until early next week. But I believe it will be available in the repo either later today or tomorrow. Is that true, Chris?
Yeah, I believe we're going for today. You're literally catching us like right as we're like dropping it. And
yeah.
On Monday we'll actually kind of start telling the world. But that's our plan. So
Yeah.
either today or tomorrow.
So what that means is that if you have a WordPress installation already ready to go, you can go into the plugin repository there, search LifterLMS, and download it from that way. Our public launch, we just have some PR type of things we have to get together, and we don't really want to launch on like a Friday or Saturday. So we're going to wait until next week. So please don't tell the world yet if you can, but feel free to go download it and use it. We'd love to get your feedback and all of that. I'm not familiar with, was it AICC?
Me neither. What was that?
AICC is the predecessor to SCORM.
Okay.
It basically is allowing people to launch courses from remote servers
Okay.
and report them locally. But honestly, the industry is not really using AICC anymore. Tin Can has taken over because it has the same abilities that AICC had, plus it adds all the SCORM abilities into it as well. So people are going with Tin Can now, but AICC is still an option out there.
Got it. And then Chris just dropped our shared inbox in the chat. It's team@lifterlms.com. We all kind of watch that as a team. So if you want to get in contact with us, you can do so just by emailing us there.
And just real briefly, we had a really simple quiz on the demo, but you can see you can do allowed temps, passing percentage. You can do time limits if you want. You can randomize it. You can have a message display depending upon the answer was wrong or right if you want to. And that's what this stuff is. And, kind of the beginning of our open source start, Yoast came in, if anybody's familiar with Yoast. And he helped us develop this because he wanted to use Lifter for something. So this was kind of born through Yoast's mind there.
Yeah. That's what's so much fun about open source is, people can just come in and help out.
And I'll just add one more thing with the quizzes. Because you have the WordPress editor or whatever, you could put anything in here. You could put a video, you could put audio. As long as you could stick it in a WordPress content area, you can have the question. It doesn't necessarily just have to be text, which is, but this is the beginning. We have plans to bring in assignments and other types of questions besides multiple choice.
And that kind of goes to Christy's question about, so the open-ended questions, do you have open-ended? Did I miss that?
We don't.
Or
we have
it's multiple choice.
You would have to do
now.
something. Yeah, you would have to do something else or have people send in you could put a Google Drive folder or Dropbox folder or email it in or contact form or whatever. But we'll get there.
Yeah, that's really high up on our prioritization chain. I mean, we've been completely self-funded and bootstrapped. And so a lot of our focus and development has just been on the foundation. And now that's what's so much fun about this kind of 2.0 launch is now we get that out into the world and we're going to start really focusing in on some of those different ways to assess students, quiz them, create assignments, that sort of thing. That's something that I'm personally very passionate about because I think that there's just a lot of different ways that we can innovate there. So it's exciting.
Awesome. And Michael, did we get all of your questions answered? Did you have anything else? Just want to make sure that we got you taken care of. Yes, awesome. Okay. Srinivas had a couple of questions. This was a while back, so I'm not sure exactly which plugin, but I think it might have been what they just showed us the download. His questions were, can anyone provide me the link for the plugin, and can we run our courses developed in Storyline or Captivate? So I think we might have answered those, but Srinivas, any of your questions still exist, or do you have anything else? He's got it. Cool. Awesome. Okay, and then on to Ant. He's wondering, how many people are using Lifter currently?
I think last we checked, we're about just shy of 500 people right now.
Very cool.
Yeah, but I think that's going to really explode when we, people were paying us $150 to do that.
Yeah.
And if you are here and you are a customer, we are going to take care of you. So don't think we're just going to make it free and be like, thanks for your money. You'll get a lot of communication with us early next week if you are a customer, and we'll be sending out some things about different options that you have and things we're doing if you do choose to stick with us. So
great. Okay, that is all the questions that I had in my backlog. Does anybody else have any questions of what they've seen? Matthew is asking if you've got a URL for the 2.0 download. If we could put it maybe in the chat.
Yeah, we don't have a download URL right now. If you wait till early next week, it'll just be right on the homepage at LifterLMS.com. You'll see the big download button. If you wait later today / tomorrow, you'll be able to find it through the repository, the WordPress plugin repository. So yeah, Dennis, it is $149 right now. So that's like, again, you caught us right at the point where we're changing all this. And people who have downloaded within the last, handful of weeks they're going to be refunded that. So, but I would just say if anyone wants to check it out, just give us 12 hours or so. And then go over to WordPress.org. You can check the plugins there in the back end of your WordPress install, and you can grab a copy that way.
Awesome. That's great news. Okay, and then we do have another question coming in about how easy the implementation is for a complete novice. Like, if you have basic WordPress knowledge, is it easy to set up? And if you run into problems along the way, what level of support is available?
Yeah, so it is very easy to set up. It's as simple as installing a WordPress plugin. So if you download it from the repository, I believe it just installs right into your WordPress installation. If you download it from our website, you'll be given a zip file that you just upload through the plugins option screen on the left-hand side that Chris is showing right there. And you can just click Add Now and then upload it that way. What was the second part of the question, Patty? I'm sorry.
The level of support.
Oh, the level of support. So with if you just download it for free, you'll be able to receive support through the WordPress support forums. If you do need an additional level of personalized support, we do have some premium support packages that will be available here in the next few days for people who want that kind of one-on-one touch with their install.
I think a lot of people do say that one of the things they say about us is we don't hide behind our website or whatever. Like our support and talking to people is pretty first class in the industry. It's something we try really hard to maintain the highest standard of.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I just appreciate you guys taking the time to chat with us today as well. And Ant he's like, well, what if I need extra help? What are the premium support prices?
Yeah, it'll be $99 for a year of support, and that's unlimited.
That's not bad.
Unlimited support tickets and whatever you need. So, and
I was just going to say we also have a service where we like if people are non-technical at all, there is a learning curve to WordPress if you haven't used it before. So if you're one of those people who's like an educator first and not a technologist at all, there is some learning involved, but we do have what we call a done for you boost service where we set up everything for people. We give them training at the end and make sure all those classic mistakes don't happen and they're up and running in 5 days. That's one of the ways why we can make LifterLMS free and still operate as a business. It's because there's quite a segment of people who want that done as well.
And the price on that's a variable price. If you head over to our website, fortunately it's not $99, but you can generate a quote on our website. If you go to LifterLMS.com, click the services tab. It's really dependent on what level of help you need. If you need us to input content and things that can change, that changes the price. Ballpark, well, it'll start at was it $9.97 and kind of goes up from there. I don't really have another end because we see everything. So we see absolutely everything. And then at some level it gets into full custom development, and we build custom LMS systems up into the 6 figures. So our company is really capable of helping the solo education entrepreneur all the way up to colleges and universities. So.
Awesome. I'll quickly speak rather than keep typing. And the reason reason I'm asking that is because I've had a few clients over the past 12 months, and I'm expecting to see more of this. Clients coming to me and saying, okay, you can build my e-learning course, but how? You know what? They don't come to me and ask this at all. They come to me and they say, right, I want e-learning, and they don't understand that there's two aspects to that. So they don't realize that not only do they need somebody to build the content, but they need a platform to host it on as well. So knowing that you guys offer that done-for-you service is really important, because it means that people like me and Patty and Shannon and Christy and all of us who are designing content, we can go to those clients and say, we can deliver the content, but we can also support you with the platform side of things as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, are you looking at any kind of any kind of white labeling type service or reselling kind of thing where, for example, if I had a client who wanted this type of platform, I could, get this done for you boost package and sort of resell it as a kind of product.
Absolutely. I mean, those are things I'm working on, Ant. So I'd love to, you have my email, but anyone who wants to talk about that specific type of white labeling, joint venture, boost service, just email me directly at joshua@lifterlms.com. If you have greater questions, please email the team inbox, because my inbox gets really, really filled really fast, and I want to make sure we get back to you. But yeah, the boost stuff, I'm very interested in that. We've had a lot of requests for that. White labeling to me can mean a number of different things. So I think white labeling the service, absolutely. White labeling the plugin, not so much. So as long as you're okay with, like, when if they log in at all, seeing LifterLMS on the back end, then I think we'll be able to really help you. If you want to change that, we can talk about it. I mean, it changes things a little bit, because now we're modifying the plugin, and depends on what level of support. So there's a lot of other questions involved in that. But if it's just the service, you can call it. You can create some sort of spec. I mean, that's the biggest thing for us is right now we're really, really proud of how fast we can spin these things up. So we guarantee that a boost will be done in 5 business days or less. Usually we can get it up and running in about 48 hours. So we're really quick, and we want to make sure we can we can allow for like speedy support for you. So it's like, what's the spec that you want? And maybe there's some custom things that we build in a plugin that extends the functionality just for your needs too, and we can white label all that, and then have our team kind of have a process and
it was more. I think white labeling was probably the wrong word. It was maybe reselling was the correct word. So you kind of covered that point. And the way I see it happening with potential clients is that we would maybe completely replace their current website with a WordPress website that had the LifterLMS functionality built in. And then we could go away and create content afterwards. But it's kind of like, I think a lot of these companies don't appreciate that they don't need maybe a website and an LMS when they, something like WordPress would do it both together.
Yeah. And I see Alexandro's comment about if it's open source, it can indeed be white labeled. You're right. You can white label it. So you can download the plugin and you can change everything you want to do. But from us managing everyone, we can't have subsets of Lifter out there and we're managing multiple repositories and that sort of thing. But if you want to go in there, change the code to say something out, yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
Awesome.
And two, I just want to say something real quick to Ant's point, which was that we find when people are starting that it's good to start fresh, like you say, like to redo from the ground up, or move the LMS to a subdomain like school.whatever.com or academy. Our done-for-you services work best when we have a clean slate to like start with all the latest and greatest.
Mm-hmm. And one of my big focuses this quarter and into next quarter is working with people like you to make sure that we can support you from a technological perspective. I know that Christy just mentioned, that some corporate LMS systems have kind of a 6 to 12 month ramp up time, and we're trying to be the antithesis of that. But this is kind of new. This reseller idea is something that's been on the horizon, but we want to do it well. And so please let us know how we can do that well. And we'd love to talk through what that would look like. Kind of everything's on the table for us. So if it's something that you start to see, okay, we're going to, I can do some volume and I need some help with that. Like I need my own portal or something so I can input client information to make things even faster. We're totally open to that, so it's just for us, it's a new kind of initiative, and the sky's the limit. So we're very excited about that.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for all this information. We've got about 4 minutes left, and I don't want to close this session before we hear from Carrie Avery, because she implemented a few courses on her own LMS, and just as a community, I wanted to kind of quickly celebrate that with her, and then just hear about her experience. And it might be cool for you two to hear from someone else's experience that's in our shoes, that's actually went through it. So, Carrie, do you have any? Maybe just tell us really briefly, like what you did and any obstacles you faced, or anything you want to tell us about it.
Obstacles. So I have I have a WordPress business site that I've had up and running for a year. I use templates. It's all very, very basic, just to have a web presence. I went looking around, decided I wanted to start building and selling my own courses. So I went looking around what all the options are. Looked at like Udemy and all the other sites that you can give half your money to if you want to put your stuff on there. All the stuff I read basically said you should do everything you can to maintain control of your own stuff. So I decided to do it myself. At one point, I had thought for sure I was going to have to hire a pro to come in and fix everything because nothing was working. So I used LearnDash because I needed to upload the files. I built all the programs already in Articulate. I've been working on them for 6 months. And I needed the ability to be able to just upload my files. All the tests, all the quizzing was all built in already. So there's no way I wanted to go back and build them again from scratch on my website. Since you guys were asking why the tin can LMS and being able to upload files is so important. And now, because I built those in Articulate, if I get approached by a large government agency and they want to purchase my courses outright, I have the ability to sell them the files and just send them to it. If I built it all on my website, I wouldn't be able to do that.
That's a great point.
Yeah, that's really great. Thank you for sharing that. That's actually really interesting.
And hopefully I get a couple of those deals at some point where they just want to buy them outright and don't have to have all of their people logging into my site. I can just sell them the files and they can take them and host them themselves. So I used LearnDash and, that's how it's so easy. And it is. I mean, downloading a plugin is easy. But then I got all the way through and realized that I needed an uploader. There is a way you can do it. I'm just not technical enough to know how. So then I had to pay another $100 for an uploader. But it works. So now I can actually upload the tin can file and it does all of the coding part for me. I don't have to do that. Now that I've figured it all out, it's quite easy for me to just build them in Articulate, save the tin can file and upload it straight out of my system right into my website. And it all functions. And then, of course, as Dennis pointed out, I needed a learning record system. So I used the free one that they have, the Learning Locker, which I'm just looking at now. And it works. The problem is the free one doesn't report back into my website for that completion. So now I'm having an issue because it won't... when they complete a course, they just hit a button that says mark completed. And I have no control. They could just hit mark completed and I have no control. So chances are I'm going to end up paying again for the Grassblade plugin that will actually do that feedback back and forth. So all in all, it's been about a $500 venture. By the time Grassblade was $200 and then the extra uploader. And then if I go for the extra learning record system to actually report back in so that they don't have to mark their own courses complete, it'll cost me about $500 to get it up and functioning. E-commerce, I just used WooCommerce, is free, it's easy, links right into PayPal. So there was a lot of frustration in the beginning, mainly with the uploading part. Once I got that done, I haven't had a lot of issues.
Cool.
Except my profiles are a mess. I use some free thing where they create their profile, and it's horrible. It has all these extra fields that I don't want, and I just haven't had the courage to get in there and try and figure out how to customize it to get rid of all these extra fields in their profiles. So that part is still quite ugly.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your experience. It's good. I know a lot of us have thought about, implementing something like that. So it's really good to hear like a real life user story of how it went and what you dealt with. And congratulations. So everyone, let's congratulate Carrie and let's thank Joshua and Chris, chat love, whatever. Thank you so much, you guys, for taking your hour out of your day and just walking us through this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And our next meeting is February 18th. We have a really great lineup at that point, and I'll send out the video for this tomorrow. So have a wonderful week, everyone, and we will see you next week.